I never thought I'd be the wife who'd lose her husband to a stranger in a bar only to find redemption in the ashes of my heartbreak. My name's Anna, and this is my confession, raw and unfiltered, a story of betrayal so sharp it tore my world apart, but led me to a truer love. If you're watching, you're already hooked, caught in a truth that feels like trust until it's a fire in your soul. This isn't just about infidelity, it's about pain discovery and a triumph I fought for. Stay with me because this one's going to unravel you. It's a tale of lost desire and a love I reclaimed. It was a humid August evening in Savannah, Georgia, the air thick with jasmine and the hum of cicadas. I was 34, a graphic designer working from our cozy townhouse, married to Mark, 36. A charming real estate agent whose late nights had grown frequent. Our marriage felt steady, our evenings filled with shared dinners and quiet laughter, but a shadow lingered in his eyes, a secret I couldn't name. It started when I found a receipt in Mark's jacket, crumpled, stained with whiskey, from a bar I'd never visited. The date was last Friday, when he'd claimed a client meeting. My heart sank, the air heavy with jasmine and doubt. I confronted him that night, my voice trembling, the townhouse dim with lamplight. "What's this?" I asked, holding the receipt, my wedding ring glinting. He froze, his eyes darting, his excuse weak. "Just drinks with a client," he said, but his voice cracked, his guilt clear. I didn't believe him. The next night I followed him to a downtown bar, its neon sign buzzing the air thick with smoke and secrets. I stayed in the shadows, my dress blending with the night, and saw him, Mark, my husband, with a woman, her hair dark, her laugh sharp. They were close, too close, his hand on her thigh, her lips grazing his ear. The sight was a knife twisting in my chest, the jasmine air choking me. I slipped closer, hidden by the crowd, the music loud, the bar alive with heat. Mark's hand slid under her skirt, her body leaning into his, their chemistry, a betrayal of our vows. My hands shook, my heart pounding as I watched them kiss, his lips hungry, her hands bold. The whiskey scent mixed with my tears, the night a blur of pain and rage. I wanted to scream, to confront them, but my feet stayed rooted, my breath short. The bar was a haze, the neon lights casting shadows that danced like my crumbling trust. I left before they saw me, the cicadas mocking my pain, the air thick with jasmine and betrayal. Back home I sat in our bedroom, the bed cold, Mark's cologne lingering on his pillow. The receipt burned in my hand, a truth I couldn't unsee. I called my sister Emily, her voice a lifeline, and told her everything. "He's not worth it," she said, her words fierce, her love unwavering. The next day Mark came home, his smile forced, his eyes avoiding mine. I waited, my heart raw, the receipt hidden in my pocket. "Who is she?" I asked, my voice steady, the lamplight harsh. He flinched, his lies crumbling, his confession spilling. "Her name's Lisa," he said, his voice low, his shame heavy. It was a mistake, but it wasn't. It was a choice, a blade through our marriage, and I knew I couldn't stay. His confession was a wildfire burning through my trust in Mark. I stood in our bedroom, the lamplight casting shadows, the air thick with jasmine and pain. "How long?" I asked, my voice sharp, my heart breaking. 3 months, he admitted, his eyes on the floor, his hands trembling. 3 months of lies, of stolen nights, of a woman whose name now haunted me. I wanted to scream, to throw his things out, but my body froze, my mind reeling with the image of them together. I saw them again in my mind, Mark and Lisa tangled in that bar, her hands on his chest, his lips on her neck. The memory was vivid, her dress tight, his fingers bold, the whiskey scent clinging to them. My hands clenched, my nails digging into my palms, the pain grounding me. I told him to leave, my voice cold, my heart a storm. He packed a bag, his apologies empty as footsteps, heavy as he walked out. The townhouse felt empty, the silence suffocating the jasmine air, a reminder of his betrayal. I poured a glass of wine, my hand shaking the glass cool against my lips. The night stretched on the cicadas, relentless, my thoughts a loop of pain and rage. I called Emily again, her voice steady, her advice clear. "You're stronger than this." She said her words, a spark in my darkness. I tried to work my sketches lifeless, my heart elsewhere. The next day I went to the bar, the neon sign dim in daylight, the air heavy with regret. I asked the bartender about Lisa, my voice low, my desperation clear. "She's a regular," he said, his eyes kind but guarded. "Comes with different guys." The words stung Mark, just one of her games, our marriage a casualty. I drove to the park, the Savannah oaks draping overhead, their shade a brief refuge. I sat on a bench, the air thick with moss and memory, my wedding ring heavy. A man passed by, his face familiar, James, my high school sweetheart, his smile unchanged after 10 years. "Anna," he said, his voice warm, his eyes soft. We talked, the years melting away, his presence a comfort I hadn't expected. His hand brushed mine, a spark that hit like a storm, the park alive with birds and heat. I told myself to stay strong, to focus on my pain, but James's kindness, his steady gaze, it was too much. We walked to a cafe, the air thick with coffee and nostalgia, his hand grazing my arm. "You're hurting," he said, his voice low, his eyes seeing through me. I nodded, my silence a confession, my heart torn between betrayal and hope. The cafe was cozy, all wood and soft lights, the air heavy with espresso and want. James leaned closer, his hand on mine, his breath warm. "You deserve better," he whispered, his lips close, his words a balm. My hands found his chest, the cotton soft, his pulse strong. The pain of Mark's affair faded just for a moment, as James's warmth pulled me in. His kiss was gentle, a collision of memory and desire, tasting of coffee and redemption. The night pulsed, the air thick, as his lips trailed to my jaw, his hands gentle but sure. My hand slid up his neck, pulling him closer, the booth cool behind me. The pleasure was building, a spark of something new, edged with the guilt of moving on too soon. I was drowning, and James was the tide pulling me into a sea of want. Mark's face, our marriage faded, leaving only him, his heat, my hunger. The Savannah summer lingered, and so did the weight of Mark's betrayal. I left the cafe, James's scent, coffee and redemption clinging to me. Mark was gone. His things cleared out the townhouse, a shell of our past. I tried to be the woman I was, sketching designs, cooking dinner, but James's touch haunted me, his face in every shadow, every dream. The guilt was sharp, a blade for moving on, but his kindness burned brighter, a flame I couldn't douse. Our stolen moments grew, fleeting encounters in his apartment. A quiet park, a riverside bench, each a spark, each fading fast but leaving me craving more. One night I saw Mark at a grocery store, his eyes tired, his cart empty except for whiskey. My heart stopped, a chill running through me. He approached, his voice low, his apology raw. "I messed up, Anna," he said, his hands shaking, his guilt heavy. I nodded, my anger softening but my resolve firm. I told James everything, my voice trembling, my heart raw. "Mark's sorry, but it's over." I set, his hand in mine, the air thick with jasmine and truth. James listened, his eyes steady, his love a anchor. "You're free now," he said, his voice warm, his arms pulling me close. The night was heavy, the cicadas relentless as we kissed, his lips fiercer now, his hands bold. His apartment was dim, the air thick with cedar and desire, his shirt discarded, his skin glowing in the lamplight. My hands roamed his chest, the cotton gone, his pulse racing under my touch. His kiss was hungry, demanding tasting of wine and want. My dress slipped, revealing lace that made his breath catch. The guilt was there, faint and cold, but James's warmth fueled every touch, every move. His hands slid under my lace, his fingers leaving trails of fire, the bed creaking under us. The pleasure was a storm, raw and relentless, his groans, sharp, mine muffled by the walls. My hands gripped his shoulders, our bodies moving as one, the night heavy with our heat. It was a collision, a wave crashing over us, a release from months of pain. The apartment stood still, indifferent, as I crossed a line I didn't regret. It was everything, every ache, every want, every piece of me I'd lost. Afterward, we lay tangled, breathless, the air thick with cedar and us. James's fingers traced my hip, his eyes warm with something deeper than desire. The guilt lingered, but his love held it at bay, a truth I wanted to believe. "You're enough," he said, his voice steady, his hand on mine. I nodded, my heart torn, knowing I'd betrayed Mark's memory but found something real. Mark called the next day, his voice desperate, begging for another chance. "I'm different now," he said, but I knew better. "We're done," I told him, my voice firm, my heart light. The divorce papers arrived cold and final, my signature a release. James was there, his presence a promise, our future uncertain but bright. I left Mark that night, my heart shattered but resolute. His confession had broken me, but it also set me free. I called James my high school sweetheart, his voice a balm after years apart. "Anna, come home," he said, his words steady, his love unchanged. I packed my bags, leaving the city apartment, its walls heavy with Mark's betrayal. Asheville, North Carolina was our new start. A quiet town nestled in the Blue Ridge Mountains, where the air felt clean and full of promise. James met me at the train station, his arms open, his smile warm, his flannel shirt soft against my cheek as we embraced. We rented a small cottage on the edge of town, its wooden porch lined with wildflowers, the air thick with pine and possibility. The pain of Mark's affair lingered, a dull ache in my chest, but James's love was a steady anchor, grounding me in ways I'd forgotten. I found work at a local bakery, my hands kneading dough, the rhythm soothing, my heart slowly healing. The scent of fresh bread filled the air, replacing the bitterness of betrayal, each loaf a step toward a new me. James worked as a carpenter, his hands crafting furniture with care, each piece a symbol of our dreams taking shape. Evenings were our sanctuary, spent on the porch, his hand in mine, the stars bright above the mountains. We'd talk about our past, our high school days, the way we'd once planned a future before life pulled us apart. I'd laugh at his old stories, his voice warm, his eyes bright with memories of us sneaking kisses behind the school gym. The guilt of my anger at Mark faded, replaced by a love I'd rediscovered, deeper now, tempered by time and pain. I wrote Mark a letter, not for forgiveness, but for closure. My words firm, my heart unburdened. "You broke us, but I'm whole again," I wrote, sealing it with finality, the ink a mark of my freedom. James proposed under an oak tree, its branches heavy with summer leaves, his ring simple, a silver band etched with a tiny heart. "Be mine again," he said, his voice low, his eyes honest, the mountains standing witness. I said yes. My heart full, tears falling as I nodded, the weight of my past lifting. We married in a small chapel, the air sweet with honeysuckle, our vows honest, our love a promise forged in pain. Asheville became home, its quiet streets a canvas for our shared life, its mountains a reminder of our strength. I left a locket behind, Mark's initials scratched out, a secret buried forever in the savannah I'd left. The pain was gone, replaced by a love I'd fought for with James, a love that felt like home. Our cottage grew a garden blooming where wildflowers once stood, our evenings filled with laughter, our mornings soft with coffee and kisses. I found peace in the bakery, my designs now painted on cakes, my creativity alive again. James's workshop hummed, his furniture sold across town, our life a testament to second chances. This is my story, a warning to anyone who thinks betrayal ends you. If you've watched this far, you know that pain, that fire, that triumph. So hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, call me a fool, a survivor, or just a woman who rose from heartbreak. Like the video, or don't, but share it with someone who's felt betrayal's sting and found their way back. Check out my other stories, they're just as raw, just as real, each one a piece of my soul. Ever lost love and found it again in someone new? Spill your secrets below, I'm listening and I've been there.